Hello everyone, welcome. This is a nice, short, but delicious yin sequence focused on releasing the hips and the thighs, the quads. These are kind of like our powerhouse muscles, the big muscles that do a lot of the work. So this is all about making more space and helping to release those hips and thighs. So let's start just with what you need. I've got a blanket here. You may want to have a folded up blanket. I've got a couple blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can even just use some big thick books or something if you want something underneath your hands. And then of course you can have a couple pillows around just in case. Start by coming to hands and knees, and then just take your right foot forwards to the outside of your right hand. And here you may want to put something underneath that back knee. So you could use your folded up blanket just to help cushion that back knee. And the idea here is to really let your hips sink forward. So we're releasing in yin yoga, we're releasing as much physical effort as we possibly can, releasing as much muscular effort as we can, and coming into a real nice place of surrendering with gravity, surrendering into the ground, surrendering into gravity. So your first stop might just be to keep leaning on your hands. You can allow your head to dangle forwards. If you want to go deeper at any point, you can release down onto your forearms, or even use some blocks and kind of take the middle ground. You can release forearms to blocks. Now with that right knee, your front knee, you can allow it just to wing out to the side, however far it wants to go. And we're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to push our bodies beyond where it wants to go. We're just allowing, again, allowing to surrender, to release to gravity, and let our bodies just kind of flop into the shape wherever it will, wherever your limbs are wanting to go. So we call this a funky pigeon pose. So we're going to hang out here for about a minute. Take a big breath in and a big sighing exhale to let yourself settle in and sink into this shape. Again, your head can just hang, or if you want to sort of prop your forehead in your hands, you're welcome to. Relax your jaw. Relax all of the muscles in your face. Relax your belly. And just breathe. Really slowly breathe in and breathe out. Allow your body to be heavy, heavy hips, heavy head. Releasing, again, effort, as much effort as possible. And let's stay here for just one more sweet round of breath. One more inhale. One more deep sigh, exhale. Now let's come on back up onto our hands and really go slow. So within this practice, take as much time as you need to when you're coming into a shape or when you're coming out of a shape. Give your body lots of space. So I'm just moving my blocks out to the side. I'm going to seal my right foot onto the ground, and here we're just going to shift and pull our left knee forwards. So you're going to come and kind of sit on your left heel, and I'll turn sideways so that we can see a little bit better. I'm going to sit on my right butt cheek, let the right knee just sort of wing out to the side, and then pull my left heel in close to my left sitting bone, my left butt cheek. Top of the foot is nice and firm, planted on the ground. Make sure your toes are not pointing out to the side because that puts too much pressure on your knee. Top of the foot on the ground. Now a few adjustments here if you need to. You could sit your bum up on a block or a pillow if this is a little too hard to sit all the way on the ground, and if this is too much stretch on your ankle, then go ahead and take a bit of your blanket and just sort of tuck it right into the part of your ankle that bends, and just bring in a little bit of support there, okay? Now start to lean back onto your hands. Again, go slow. Take it nice and slow, nice and easy, and you can pause here. Step one, just lean back into your hands. Even let your shoulders shrug. It's okay. This is a place to just let it go, release. You may release back to your forearms. If you do have your bum on a block or on a pillow, then don't go any further back than your forearms. Chin can stay dropping into your chest. You do have the option to lower all the way down onto your back in this shape, this half hero's pose shape. So if you've got the space and you want to come all the way down, you can. We're aiming to feel this stretch in our left thigh, left quadriceps, up into the left hip flexors, maybe a little bit. So wherever you are, lying down or on forearms, or even leaning back on your hands, find as much softness as possible, as much surrender as possible, and then find as much breath as possible. So big inhale, big exhale. Keep that going, breathing in, filling your lungs, filling your body, and breathing out. And especially with your exhale, you can allow yourself to sink into the ground a bit more, to release any leftover bits of holding or unconscious places where you might be gripping or tightening. I'll say it again, we're trying to surrender into the ground. Surrender our effort. Surrender our weight. Let's take our last 2 breaths here. Really slow breaths. Keeping your belly soft, your rib cage soft, so your breath can fully expand and fully release. One more round. Good. Now we're going to come up out of this, and I want you to come up again really slow, really mindful. If you're lying all the way down, first just bring chin into your chest. I know it's a little awkward, but just kind of bring yourself back up to your forearms, and then back up to your hands, and then slowly come all the way back up to your seat. Good. Now we'll just release that left foot from underneath us, and let's come back through to hands and knees. I'm going to do those same 2 shapes on the other side. So maybe get something set up for underneath your back knee, your right knee. And step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Now first, just sink the hips really heavy. Soften the weight of your pelvis forwards. Relax your belly. Maybe let your head dangle down. Stay up on your hands or release to forearms, or take that middle ground. Put your forearms on some blocks or pillows. And now let that left knee, your front knee, just drape out to the side wherever it wants to go. You don't need to force it. We're not here to force ourselves into getting deeper into these shapes, but we're here to allow our bodies to naturally find their own edge. So softening in, and then really give into gravity as much as you can. Your head can dangle. Your hips are sinking heavy. Your belly is soft. Again, we're staying here for about a minute. That's usually about 8 to 10 nice slow cycles of breath. So you can even count those breaths for yourself. And the focus inwards, the counting of your breath, can be a nice way to calm and quiet your mind. Simply counting, breathing in and breathing out. Stick with your breath. Stick with this soft heaviness. Stick with the surrender. Feel yourself really yielding to the ground. You're not trying to hold yourself up out of the shape or up out of the ground, but yielding to the ground, yielding into the shape. Again, check with your jaw. Relax your jaw. Take your last couple rounds of breath. Feeling your lungs really expand and stretch, feeding yourself fresh oxygen, fresh energy. And breathing out, releasing any tension, tightness, fatigue, or stress. We'll let this posture go. So again, we want to move nice and slow. Come back up onto your hands. Just seal that left foot flat onto the ground. And then we're taking our back leg and just going to, drag it forwards, kind of pull it forward. So you're coming to sit over on your left hip. So we're going to lean over onto that left hip. Now again, here I'll turn a bit so you can see. We're taking that right heel right into the right butt cheek. Top of your foot flat on the ground. Use any little props you need if you want to support your ankle a bit more. If your ankle's feeling like it's too much stretch, then squish a bit of blanket right underneath that arch of your ankle. Sit on a pillow if you need. Slowly start to recline into the shape. So this is really sending the stretch into our quadriceps of that front leg, that right leg. Lean into your hands. You can stay there. Just shrug your shoulders. Slump into the shape. Or release to your forearms. Or even lie all the way back. You can come all the way down onto the ground if you choose. It's kind of refreshing, this yin practice, in that we don't have to try to hold ourselves into any delicate or perfect alignments or shapes. We can really let it all hang out, right? It's taking a break from extending ourselves outwards, taking a break from putting on different expressions, from holding your belly, engaging your muscles, and instead really nourishing ourselves by relaxing our face, relaxing our jaw, releasing the expression from our face, letting our bellies hang out, letting our shoulders shrug up. Just giving in to the softness of the breath, giving in to the support of the ground. Keep finding your breath, softening your jaw. Hang out wherever you are without needing to rush your way through, but just to be. Just be where you are. Feel what you feel. And let that be okay. Notice if your breath has gotten a little shallow or short, and just re-engage those deep, nourishing inhales and soft, cleansing exhales. Let's finish up in this shape on this side with one more breath, one more cycle of inhale and exhale. And then slowly and mindfully always being that key word, come back up out of the shape. Give your body lots of time to figure itself out as you come out of these longer held stretches. Slowly come on up. Release your right shin, your right foot from underneath you. And one more time, let's come on back to hands and knees. So just shift back to hands and knees. Right leg pulls forwards, right knee towards your right wrist, and just sort of take a little wiggle of your right foot forwards. Doesn't have to go too far forwards. We're coming into our pigeon stretch. So with my back toes tucked, I'm just going to softly lower, kind of walk my back foot behind me to lower my hips down. Lots of ways to prop yourself up here. Folded up blanket or a pillow or a block, you're welcome to tuck that underneath your right butt cheek, your right sitting bone, if that feels a little more supportive for you. couple pillows or a block or folded up blanket out in front of you if you want to rest your forehead on. Now, I really highly recommend having something to rest your forehead on in this shape so that your neck has a chance to completely release. So whether that's a block or a pillow or two, or even just a nice little stack of your hands, definitely try to rest your forehead on something. Now, finding your edge, and your edge means you're finding a place where you feel some sensation, you feel a stretch, but it's not so much that you're like, oh my God, how can I hold this? I don't know if I can even breathe through this. So really being mindful that you don't push too far, right? We're not trying to force ourselves, but we're just giving in with gravity, finding that edge, finding that stretch, and then releasing, completely releasing with gravity, with breath, into that sensation and into the ground. Surrender. Again, we've got about a minute here, so if you want to count your breath, it's about 8 to 10 slow cycles of breath. Counting your breath can help your mind focus and be quiet. It can help you stay right in the moment. See if you can relax your hands, relax your shoulders, relax your belly, especially relax your belly. Take big sighs at any point if that will help you. Big inhales through your nose and exhales out through your mouth. So if that helps you to find that sense of release, that sense of dropping into the shape, of dropping effort, of dropping holding patterns or gripping patterns. You can remember the inhale is the nourishing breath in, filling yourself up, filling with fresh breath and fresh energy. And the exhale is that flush or that cleansing breath to release tightness or fatigue or stress. Now we're going to finish here. So once you've finished your next exhale, mindfully, slowly come back up onto your hands. If you've got something underneath your right sitting bone, you might just want to move it out of the way. We're going to lean over into that right hip and then swing our left leg around to the front. So bringing left leg all the way around. Now we're going to come into Gomukhasana, cow face pose, which can be a little intense for some of us, a lot of us actually. So you may want to sit on a block or get that folded up blanket right underneath your bum. Just lifts the hips and can make this a little more accessible. And if it's still feeling way too intense, then stretch out your underneath leg. So you'd have your right leg straight and you just have your left leg wrapped over top. So whatever is going to work for you there. Now this is a bit of a doozy of a shape, because not only are we opening into that sort of external rotation of the hips, but we're crossing into the midline, so we're having to open a bit through that outer line of the hips and thighs as well, which is also why it's such a great stretch. So sit up nice and tall. Really sink your weight down into your sitting bones, heavy through your pelvis. This might be enough, and if this is enough, great. Then just stay. You don't have to force yourself any deeper than your body is wanting to or willing to go. Those of you who would like to take it a bit further, you can take your hands out in front of you. Walk your hands slowly forwards and start to fold over your legs. You may want to take a creative little propping here of a pillow too, or a block kind of on top of your front knee in order to again rest your forehead onto, or out in front. If you can get in a little deeper, you could rest your forehead down onto your block out in front of the knees. Wherever you are, relax, release let go of your effort. You don't have to accomplish anything here except for breathing slowly and deeply. As these sensations or these postures get a little more challenging, it's easier to start to kind of grip into other parts of our body. Our natural reaction to challenging sensation is to tighten, to grip, to protect. And that's healthy and that's normal and that's necessary sometimes. But here, let's try to do the opposite. So as we come into maybe a more challenging sensation of stretch, let's try to do the opposite of that tightening, and let's surrender deeply into the sensation. Surrender deeply into your breath and find as much softness as you can. Soft breath, soft face, soft jaw, soft belly, hands and shoulders. Soft right down into that bowl of your pelvis. Let's take our last 2 rounds of breath wherever you are. If you're sitting upright or leaning forwards, doesn't matter where you are, just matters that you're finding your edge. And we can take that last breath as a big sigh, that sort of clearing, cleansing sigh. Inhale and exhale. Bring it up slow and mindful. It can be a little awkward to unravel your legs, but just go gentle. Now taking your feet flat onto the ground and just turning sideways a little bit to see better. Feet flat onto the ground, and then really widen your feet, so even wider than your mat. Hands back behind you. And let's drape one knee into the center, other knee out to the side, so we're getting into that nice internal rotation of the hips. And then switching to the other side. Now you can just stick with this, take a few more of these nice windshield wipers, or if you'd like to add on, draping one knee into the center and then pressing up onto that shin and onto your opposite hand and really trying to press your hips up and open. And then sitting back down and taking it over to the other side. So pressing up onto your shin and the opposite hand. Press up and open through the hips. And then come on back down, and we're going to switch and do all of that on the other side. So come on back, hands and knees, our starting point. And then left knee forwards to left wrist, coming into pigeon stretch on the other side. Take a little wiggle of your left foot slightly out to the side, slightly forwards. Back toes are tucked just to help sort of walk your hips back and down, sinking down towards the ground. And go ahead, prop yourself up however you want. Blanket, pillow, block if you want to place that underneath left butt cheek, left sitting bone. Again, please rest your forehead on something so that your neck has a chance to let go. We don't need to be constantly gripping those neck muscles. Block, pillow, or your hands. And then let's really release into this shape. So big, sighing. You can be a little dramatic there with those sighs. Relaxing your jaw, relaxing your face. As we relax the jaw, relax the face, it helps to send signals to the rest of our body to find softness, to release, to let go. So even if you just focus on keeping the back of your throat, the back of your tongue, and all of the muscles around your ears and your jaw relaxed, that's enough. That's great. You can stick with that focus. If counting your breath was really helping you, then again, you can find that nice sweet counting of inhale and exhale, about 8 to 10 rounds. And then how heavy can you get into the ground? How much of your weight can you release into the ground? So we don't need to hold or grip You can trust the ground to hold you. This is a safe space to let go of that unconscious holding, that unconscious layer of gripping, of protection. And just let yourself drop in and down to a quieter, slower, softer place. Now one more deep breath. And then walk back up to your hands, taking your time. We'll shift our weight into our left hip and swing that back leg around to the front. So we're taking our cow face pose, right leg wrapped over top of the left. All of those variations, again, on offer. Put something underneath your seat, folded up blanket, or even stretch out the underneath leg if you'd like. Try to get both sides of your pelvis, both sitting bones, both butt cheeks, nice and heavy, nice and released into the ground. Maybe you just need to sit up tall. That's great. Okay, that's more than enough. Whatever your edge is enough. You don't have to push beyond your own edge. Of course, if you want to go further, walk your hands forwards. Use, again, any creative propping that you'd like to help yourself feel a little more supported here. Find as much softness as possible, so releasing as much muscular effort as possible. And just finding those slow and sweet inhales and exhales. Every exhale is a chance to let go. Every exhale is a chance to find that sense of heaviness, of weight into the ground. Every exhale is a chance to flush and release any tightness, holding, gripping, tension, or fatigue. Staying here a little bit longer. Nice and slow on your inhale, nice and slow on your exhale. Again, often the reaction to a challenging sensation is that gripping. So check if there's any unconscious gripping going on in your shoulders, or your belly, or your face, or your hands. And if so, do your best to try to soften those places so we don't have to grip and protect ourselves here. We can really allow ourselves to surrender and release. Now we're going to take one more big sighing breath. Breathing in through the nose and big exhale out through the mouth. Take your time, come on up, nice and slow, nice and easy. Even if you're really excited to get out of the shape, try to slow down those transitions. Unwrap your legs. And let's place our feet again, mat width apart, maybe even a little bit wider. I find it better to have my feet even a little bit wider. Hands behind you. And then start by draping your right knee into the center and your left knee out to the side, that windshield wiper. And then up and over again to the other side, just like we did on that first round. Left knee center, right knee wide. And then again, right knee center, left knee wide. Stay here or press up onto your right shin and your left hand. And then take it to the other side. So left knee draped center, right knee wide, and then you can press up onto left shin and right hand. And then come on back down. All right, last shape we're going to come into just for a brief little period is a straddle pose. So we're going to get a little bit into that inner hip, inner thigh, inner groin area. So open your legs as wide as you can until you come up again to your own natural edge of resistance. And if you find that sitting up tall isn't quite possible for you, you feel pulled back, that's where your blanket or pillow is going to come in. You can place that underneath your seat just to elevate the hips a little bit. Now relax thighs, relax your feet, your ankles, And then some of you may just lean forwards on your hands. Let your head drop and relax the jaw. You can crawl as far forward into the shape as is possible for you, coming again into your own edge. So you could release to forearms or forearms to blocks or pillows. You can even rest your hands on your forehead to support the weight of your head. Or come all the way down. Go in as deep as you'd like. As deep as you'd like without force. Relax the belly. Deepen the breath. Stay present. Relax your jaw. This will pass. This too shall pass. So stick with this posture, stick with your breath, and stay as still as you can. Just feel, be where you are. Soft belly, breathing right down into, again, that bowl of your pelvis, relaxing the jaw. Surrendering the weight of your body, completely give in to gravity. And let's take 2 more cycles of breath. And one more sweet inhale. Exhale, let it go. Come on back up, take your time. Take a little shimmy of your legs in towards the center so you can kind of do a little shimmy shake, bring your legs in. And then just bend your knees, hug your knees in towards your chest. And then release. So namaste, thank you all for practicing, and see you next time.